Hi everyone, in this video I'm taking you along as I make some treats. So I'm making the same treats I made in my first treat making video, but I'm going to be talking because I feel like I want to answer some of the questions that people may have if they watch this video that they had when they watched the other video. So just a disclaimer before I start. In some videos you see me wearing gloves and I kind of just didn't wear, I'm not wearing gloves in this video and I'm not ashamed to say it. I understand the importance of wearing gloves. I worked in a lot of food and safety places. I've been trained in it. I am literally washing my hands after I touch everything. Like, I literally went through a whole roll of paper towel because I wash my hands every single time I touch something new. Wearing gloves, I just can't keep track of what I'm touch. I mean, I can keep track of what I'm touching, but like when I wash them, they're just not clean. Throwing them out, and it's just become a whole lot of plastic gloves I've been using, and it's just becoming it's becoming a lot. So again, I wash my hands after I touch something, so they're as clean as they can be. Anyways, so the cake I'm making is red velvet cake. So I'm just following the back of the instructions on the instructions on the back of the box. It's to each its own, whichever cake you use. Some people say don't use oil. Some people do. I just use oil. I used to not use oil because I was being cheap with ingredients, but I just like the cake as it is and then adding frosting to mix it all together. So moving on, I'm now working on the Oreos because I want those to set in the fridge as I make everything else. And to make Oreos, for me, it takes one package of candy melts to make 7 Oreos with enough leftover candy melt to decorate them. I'm only making 6 Oreos here because I only need 6 white and 6 pink. But as you can see here, I take like 1 spoon, and I like the Oreos to be fully covered in the chocolate, so I'm quite generous with how much chocolate I put. And then I just put enough so the Oreo can go in and it can kind of pool on the top a little bit. And then I just take a little bit more chocolate and cover the top of the Oreo. And for me, I tap the Oreos, like that Oreo container, to make sure that all the air bubbles go out and they sit well with the chocolate and they're really secure in there because you don't want no cracks or like it not to connect well. And as you can see here, I have enough to make one more like Oreo, so that would be 7, as well as having a little bit of chocolate left for like drizzling the top of the Oreos once they set. So far, for 12 Oreos, I used 2 packs of candy melts and I had lots of excess chocolate left. For Rice Krispies, I use store-bought Rice Krispies. I don't make them from scratch, not ashamed of it. The only brand that works best for me is the Kellogg's Rice Krispies. And it's only the 16 pack and the 8 pack. They're just nice and firm, they're strong, they have great taste, and they just are perfect for treat making. They're the perfect shape. Others, such as like the other brands I've tried so far, they're a bit crumbly. They're not as well sticky together. They don't taste as good. So I use the Kellogg's Rice Krispie ones in the 16 count pack or the 8 count pack. So yeah. And this is honestly the chocolate I had left in that pink container was enough for drizzling the Rice Krispies. So this is me preparing the chocolate for the pretzels that I'm gonna later on dip. So starting with the pink, you can see I'm mixing in the new chocolate that we add once I microwaved it. I usually microwave it for about a minute and 30 seconds, mix it, then put it back in for a minute or 30 seconds more. However, it's to each its own with your own microwave. Some people's microwaves are way more stronger than others. Also, it depends what you're also microwaving your chocolate with. I am using a regular mug in my house. Literally just like these mugs are I only use these mugs for making treats. They're nice and big, and they work for me. So that's what I'm using. And also because the mug is ceramic, it contains heat a lot longer than like a plastic baking food melting vessel thing that most people use on TikTok. And as you can just see here, I did drizzle with a piping bag the pink chocolate and added some sprinkles on top. So that's that. Rice Krispie decorating like this takes like a quarter of a pack of candy melts. So usually use your excess candy melts for drizzling and decorating Rice Krispies because you don't really need a whole pack for that. So moving on with the pretzels, I'm just dipping these cinder pretzel rods into the candy melts. I buy everything from store. I don't order anything online unless it's like decorations I need from Amazon. And these pretzels are not easy to come across. They only carry them in like one grocery store in my like neighborhood, and they sell out really quickly because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who like them for treat making and whatnot. So for me, what usually is the case is 12 pretzels can be made from one pack of candy melts. One packet of candy melts can actually make more than 12 pretzels, but usually I make treats by the dozen, and 12 is enough. 12 is what I usually need. However, I actually dipped more than 12 cake pops, pretzels in that pink candy mixture. I did about like 16, and that was enough. And that used up most of the candy melts. So I would say roughly around 12 to 17 candy melts for 12 to 17 pretzels per one bag of candy melts. So yeah. And I also made a video on pretzel dipping, on pretzel and marshmallow treats. So I'll probably link that down below so you can see it, or just check out my channel. It's there, and you can see more in depth of how I make my pretzels. So yeah. And as you just seen here, I did decorate my Oreos. I just drizzled them with like again the excess chocolate that I had, so pink on white and white on pink with sprinkles, and then I'm just putting the excess candy melts from the piping bag into the container with the other candy melts already melted. So that is my excess. So as of now, we use 4 full bags of candy melts. And once my cake has cooled down, as you just seen, I crumbled it up into crumbs, then added 2 heaving scoops of frosting. It looks like 3, so let's just say 3 scoops, but really just aim for 2 heaving scoops, so like 2 big greedy scoops of frosting, and put it into your cake. And then I'm just using my hand and rolling them. I like hand rolling them. I just feel like I can make them nice and secure when I hand roll them. There's so many cake, not really that many, but there's a few cake pop tools you can use for rolling out cake balls. So here are my cake balls. One box of red velvet cake mix made about 24, which it was like I have no idea how I made this 24, but it was 24. However, just to keep things safe, if you want to if you're really particular about your numbers, I don't even count my numbers or count how much I make. Sometimes when I'm like doing treats, I usually just save whatever I have left and store it for next time. But I only did 12, so I just used 12 cake pops, and I decorated 13 just in case I make a mistake on one. I can just, have an extra. But I would say if you're like looking to get the correct numbers, if you're working on a tight budget, or you're just being mindful of money, because come on, in this economy, I'm like trying so hard not to spend money, because I've been spending a lot of money lately and it's been really bad. Anyways, I digress. So one box of cake mix is like what? I would say it's 15 cake pops, like roughly. So if you want to make 24, I highly recommend to not take the risk of buying just one box, buy 2 boxes. And that's that. So you can see now I'm just cleaning off the edges of like the treats, with this Rice Krispie being on display, and I'm putting that into a treat bag, like a nice clear treat bag, and I'm just securing it, then using some ribbon and tying that on my bag, and then I'm going to take the scissors and curl it so it looks nice and cute. And just I want to circle back into the cake pop thing. As you can see here, I'm trying to explore making stuff from scratch. When it comes to treat making, particularly with cake pops, if you go to Starbucks, Metro, or wherever you buy your treats from, for the most part, they don't really make the cake from scratch. Trust me, it's like a mixture that's baked, and then they mush it up, and then it turns out, sometimes it's not even cake. It's like a concoction, like a baked, like a, concoction. And I digress. So I'm just saying, it's not a big deal using cake mix to make cake pops, because you're going to mush up the cake anyways, and the texture is still the same. So I would not bake a cake from scratch to make cake pops. So here's me doing the pretzels. I am taking the pretzels, putting them into the pretzel bag, and again tying it. As you may have seen, I am not a big fan of the silver wiry thing. I just think it looks tacky when I make treats. I like my treats to look a little cutesy and elegant, so I prefer doing the ribbon. It's a bit of extra work, but it just does the job. And as you can see here, ignore the red velvet crumbs on my counter. That is so embarrassing. But I'm just taking the cake pops once they're dried and then drizzling more chocolate on them. And I'm not too fan of the cake pops and how they look. So yeah, that's my drizzle. It could have been better. Then I'm just taking some sprinkles and putting that on the cake pop and once they cool down, I wrap them up. And here are how the treats look like. I just want to thank you all for watching this video if you tuned in to the very end. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm no expert, but I really hope this video made you feel a bit more comfortable with treat making. And I use a bunch of stuff from home, no fancy equipment, nothing. And these are how cute everything turned out. So take that courage, make them yourself, have fun, and see you in my next video.